Okay, good morning. So, in the last class, we have uh, started our fourth module. In that, we have discussed various facts about the industrial relations. Okay, good morning. Industrial relations. So, that is the base of any productivity. That means in order to have a productivity, good productivity, this should be also made into consideration. That is to maintain a good relations and how we can maintain good relations or what are the key objectives of a good industrial relations we have already discussed and the factors. There were three factors mainly contributing to industrial relations, that is institutional factors, economical factors, and technological factors. And later we have moved to the psychological attitudes. So there were many attitudes. First of all, what is an attitude? Attitude, it is mainly some emotions, right? So a set of emotions or behavior or belief, whatever may be, towards any person or anything or any work. So that is the attitude, and there are many types of, mainly we have discussed three types of attitudes. That is working condition of physical nature, like the presence of illumination, heating, ventilation, etc., etc., or any is there any pollution. So based on the physical nature of the working condition, there may be a attitude difference, whether the worker may have a positive attitude towards the work or a negative attitude towards the work. Then second one was the working condition related to the time. So according to the time he's working, the attitude may change, whether he can make a positive attitude or a negative attitude. So based on the time. So in India, we have basically we have set 8 hours per day. So if it is like that, then it will result in a positive attitude. So mainly we have to optimize the time. And also for a week we have set 48 hours, like for 6 days 8 hour each. And the last one was the working condition based on the social situation. So till then we were discussing. Now we move to the next topic, that is fatigue. That is also we have just started industrial fatigue. So what is the industrial fatigue? നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു എന്താണ് ഒരു മടുപ്പ് തോന്നുക എപ്പോഴൊക്കെയോ. Why? How it is done, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്തുകൊണ്ട് ഇങ്ങനൊരു ഫറ്റിഗ് ഉണ്ടാകുന്നു? This is the basic definition, that is it refers to the reduction in work of the worker. So basically it reduces the work or the productivity or reduction in the pleasure in doing a work. So it may reduce the pleasure of the worker to do a work in a efficient manner. So we have seen various factors. We have seen the last class. We have seen 9 factors which contributes to the industrial fatigue or the causes of industrial fatigue. What were there? First one was the repetition of the work. So they were repeated works. Then it may cause a lose in his pleasure or a reduction in the pleasure or ultimately fatigue. Then second was the non-recognition of the worker by the employee. Work of the employee by the employer. അയാൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന വർക്കുകൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കാനുള്ള കഴിവില്ല, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അയാൾ ചെയ്യുന്നത് മേലുദ്യോഗസ്ഥർ കാണാത്ത പോലെ നടിക്കുന്നു. Then third one was the bad or unsafe working conditions. If the working condition goes wrong, then it may lead to fatigue. Then the lack of cooperation of the co-workers, longer hours of work, then personal reasons, complexity of the procedure, and the misplacement of the workersനെ കറക്റ്റ് പ്ലേസിൽ നിർത്താതെ വേണ്ട പൊസിഷനിൽ നിർത്തുക. അല്ലേ? അതിന് നമ്മൾ കുറേ എക്സാമ്പിൾസും കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. ദെൻ ഫൈനലി ദ എർഗണോമിക് ആസ്പെക്ട്സ്, അതായത് ദ സീറ്റിംഗ് പൊസിച്ചർ, സീറ്റിംഗ് പോഷർ, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള പോർഷൻസ്, ഓർ സ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് ഓർ ബെൻഡിങ് ഇൻ ദ ലോങ്ങർ പീരീഡ്സ്. ദീസ് ഓൾ മേ contribute to industrial fatigue. Now we will see there are some effects, mainly 3 effects of industrial fatigue. Industrial fatigue. Okay. So what are the effects of a fatigue? So due to these effects, or fatigue, that is the reduction in the work or the reduction in the pleasure of the worker, what all things may happen? Basically 3 things. First one, it decreases the worker's capacity to do more work. So decreases the workers capacity to do more work. So what happens is, when he loses his pleasure, he will just work for the sake of working, and he will we cannot expect much from the worker side. That is the first one. Due to industrial fatigue, it decreases the worker's capacity to do more work. Second, productivity. Regarding the productivity, it reduces the reduction in production. നല്ല പ്രാസം അല്ലേ? And finally, it affects the personal life and psychology of the worker. So what happens is, due to many certain effects or factors, what happens is it may cause the reduction in the pleasure. So when his pleasure is gone, or something happens to his psychological behavior, so it may affect his personal life also, or the psychology of the worker. So that is the next thing. Affects the personal life and psychology of the worker. So these are the effects of the industrial fatigue. First one, decreases the worker's capacity to do more work. Then reduction in the production. And finally, it affects the personal life and psychology of the worker. Now, so we can have some methods by which we can eliminate these effects or eliminate the industrial fatigue. So what are the methods of eliminating industrial fatigue? The methods of eliminating industrial fatigue. First one is hour of work. Regarding the hour of work, that means by optimizing the total hour of work, we have already discussed, we can be able to reduce the fatigue, thereby high productivity can be achieved. So the high productivity and less fatigue that can be achieved with almost small amount of working hours. That is, for example, we have already mentioned, that is 8 hours per day. If the time is given as 8 hours per day, then after that you will be given the time for relaxation. So what happens is, he will have a pleasure to do more works, and he will get refreshed, and his efficiency also increases. So if the efficiency of the worker increases, it will automatically reflect in the productivity also. So this is the first case, that is regarding the hour of work. By optimizing the hour of work, we can eliminate the effect of industrial fatigue. The second case, working days of a week. Of a week. This also already discussed. That is, in the example, the previous example, we have seen, that is, we are keeping 8 hours per day, and as we can assume that out of 7 days, Sunday maybe whole day, so we are left with 6 days. So 8 hours each we can allow. So we can say that is 48 hours. So we are fixing 48 hours per week. That means it should not go, and it should not go beyond that. So it should be followed strictly. If it is like that, then this also create a good effect in his personal experience. That is, the worker may be knowing, or worker is assured that he won't be able to, or he's not uh, working beyond that time, so he will be refreshed the similar manner. So that is the second point. And next is the nature of work. Regarding the nature of work, nature of work. So sometimes the complex works, not simple, complex works were there, and it involves many huge human muscular efforts that may create fatigue. So while doing this complex work, what all complex work, it may cause the industrial fatigue. So what happens is, we can use certain material handling devices. We have already discussed in the third module. Various kinds of not third module, second module. Various kinds of material handling devices. So by utilizing these material handling devices, we can reduce the complexity or uh, huge efforts, muscular efforts of the human. Thereby, we can prevent the industrial fatigue. Also, we have seen the various kinds of time study and method study, by which we can improve the methods, or reduce the time, and thereby also we can reduce the complexity of the work, and we can ultimately, it will helps in high productivity and less fatigue. That is regarding the nature of work. Then the working condition. Working condition. Working condition. Regarding the working condition. So there are many environmental conditions, or the working conditions beyond the work, such as sufficient illumination, sufficient ventilation, protective clothing, etc., etc. If the working condition is good, then it may ultimately reduce the fatigue. If the condition is bad, then it may create a bad attitude towards the work from the worker, and it may create more and more fatigue. And finally, regarding the rest poses. Rest poses. Rest poses. There is a interval or break time given to the employees. So already we have seen there is 8 hours per day, and this 8 hour per day, if it is in a correct 8 hour, that is from 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock, continuous manner, if it is in a continuous manner, it may create a fatigue. So it may create a bored, he will be bored or tired. So it will be good if there is certain provision for rest pauses or intervals for tea break or coffee break, lunch interval. There is a particular time period for a lunch break, that is say 1 hour for lunch break, or 10 minutes for tea break and all, according to the firm's policy. So if there is a provision for rest pauses, then it will help in reducing the fatigue. So these are the main methods by which we can eliminate the industrial fatigue. First is the regarding hour of work. There we have seen an example where we are providing 8 hours per day for a firm, for the worker to work, so that it may help in eliminating the industrial fatigue. Secondly, we have seen regarding the week time. Throughout a week, the maximum number of number of hours, it is fixed, like 48 hours per week. Then it may help in refreshing the mind of the employee, or refreshing himself, and that may create the elimination of the fatigue. Next, we have seen regarding the nature of the work. In order to reduce the complexity, we have introduced many material handling devices, and using the motion study and time study, we will arrive in a good method or procedure, optimizing the time, through which we can reduce the tiredness or boredom of the workers, and thereby reducing the fatigue. And then we have seen the working conditions. Regarding the working condition, by improving certain working conditions like providing ventilation, illumination, etc., etc., we can reduce the effect of the fatigue. And finally, we have seen the case of rest pauses, or the importance of rest pauses. By introducing appropriate rest pauses between the work, we can eliminate the effect of industrial fatigue. Now, next we can see the communication, regarding the communication. Okay. Communication. Communication. So this is one of the key factor which may create or which is helpful in good maintaining good relations, or it may cause the certain disputes, or it can be helpful in controlling disputes. Anyway, this is very important thing, that is communication. Good to have a good communication. So what is a communication? Communication is basically a transfer of information. So a transfer of information from a sender. There will be a sender and a receiver at another end. Okay. So passing the information from sender to receiver, that is the basically a communication. So the thing is, what all things or what all information is being sent from the sender, it should be clearly understood by the receiver. So it should be clearly understood. So what all things will may happen if it is not clearly understood, or what are the elements in a communication process, or the then types, what are the basic types of communication, and effects, what are the effects of a communication, whether it is a bad or good, how it can affect an organization, and there are what are the barriers in a good communication. These all things we have to discuss. Okay, first of all, the elements, what are the basic elements of a communication? uh, Elements. So what are the elements of a communication? First of all, we'll list out the elements. Later we will discuss. First one, sender, then encoding, third one, channel, fourth one, decoding, and finally feedback. So these are the main elements of communication. Okay. So we have seen communication is the passage of or transferring of information from the sender to receiver. So how it is being done? So here you have a source, here you are a source from which, or source or sender, this is the sender, the one who gives the information. He's having some information in his mind, and it should be delivered at the receiver end. And how it is possible, that is the communication. So first of all, first element is the source, that is the sender. He is passing the information. So the information is in some form, that is in the terms of certain gestures or words or anything, words or gestures, etc. So it is converted into a form that is termed as encoding. അപ്പോൾ അതിനെ എൻകോഡ് ചെയ്തു. Then it should be passed through some medium. ഈ പറഞ്ഞ വേർഡ്സിനെ നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ വെറുതെ വെച്ച് നോക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരുന്നിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ല. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ we know the words, there are certain words, if we apply only we can be able to communicate. അപ്പോൾ എങ്ങനെ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും? ത്രൂ മൊബൈൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ത്രൂ എ ലെറ്റർ പാഡ്, മെമ്മോ, എക്സെട്ര റിപ്പോർട്ട്സ്, എനിത്തിങ്. അപ്പോൾ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു സാധനം വഴി വേണം നമുക്കതിനെ ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്യാൻ. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ ചാനൽ. Now at the receiver end, he got the call from the mobile, or he got the report. Now he have to decode the factors in order to understand that. He has to understand that. അതിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഡീകോഡിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയാം. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഡീകോഡിംഗ്. അത് ഡീകോഡ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നേരെ ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ഗോ ടു ദ റിസീവർ. റിസീവറിന് അത് കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതിനുള്ള മറുപടി റിസീവർ സെൻഡർക്ക് കൊടുക്കും. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക്. സിമ്പിളായിട്ട് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇവിടെ വൈഷ്ണവ് സി കെ മൊബൈലെടുത്ത് നമ്മുടെ റോഷിത്തിനെ വിളിച്ച് പക്ഷേ കിട്ടിയത് നമ്മുടെ ജിഷ്ണു കെനാണ്. ജിഷ്ണു കെനെ വിളിച്ച് പരത്തേറി പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പോൾ റോഷിത്തിനാണെങ്കിൽ മനസ്സിലാവില്ലായിരുന്നെ. പക്ഷേ ഇത് കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് എൻകോഡ് ചെയ്ത് ആ തെറി പോയി ഫോണിൽ കൂടെ കയറി, ചാനലിൽ കൂടെ കയറി. ജിഷ്ണുവിന് നന്നായിട്ടത് ഡീകോഡ് ചെയ്യാനും പറ്റി. ഡീകോഡ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ ജിഷ്ണുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്തു? ഓൺ ദ സ്പോട്ട് എന്താ ചെയ്യും? നല്ലൊരു അടിയാണ് കൊടുത്തു ചേട്ടനൊക്കെ. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ദ ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക്. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് കിട്ടിയതിന് ശേഷം വൈഷ്ണവ് സി കെ എന്തായി? പിന്നെ മേലെ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടില്ല. അപ്പോൾ ഇതാണ് ഒരു നല്ല ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടി. ഇപ്പോൾ സപ്പോസ് ഇപ്പോൾ ജിഷ്ണു കേക്കല്ല, ഇപ്പോൾ റോഷിത്തിനാണെന്ന് കരുതുക ഫോൺ എടുത്തത്. റോഷിത്തിന് ഈ വഴക്കെറിയോ അതൊന്നും അറിയില്ല. അപ്പോൾ വൈഷ്ണവ് സി കെ കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് എൻകോഡ് ചെയ്ത് വിട്ടു. പക്ഷേ ഡീകോഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ റോഷിത്തിന് കഴിഞ്ഞില്ല. അപ്പോൾ റോഷിത്ത് വിചാരിച്ചു എന്താണ്, നല്ല ഏതോ വാക്കാണെന്ന്. അപ്പോൾ റോഷിത്ത് കൊടുക്കുന്ന ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് എന്താണ്? താങ്ക് യു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടായിരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടാവുക. അപ്പോൾ വൈഷ്ണവ് സി കെ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? അടുത്ത വീണ്ടും അതേപോലെ തന്നെ വിളിക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങും. അപ്പോൾ റോഷിത്ത് തന്നെയാണ് എടുത്തെങ്കിൽ കുഴപ്പമില്ല, പക്ഷേ ജിഷ്ണു കെ എടുത്തെങ്കിൽ സീൻ മാറും. അപ്പോൾ ഇതാണ് ഒരു കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനകത്ത് കുറച്ച് പ്രശ്നങ്ങളൊക്കെ വരും. ഇതൊക്കെയാണ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനുമായിട്ട് റിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് വരുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ. ഓക്കെ, നെക്സ്റ്റ്, ടൈപ്സ് ഓഫ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ. Types of communication. So there are basically, we can classify the communication into two. ലെറ്റർ ഒക്കെ പോലെ നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ, ലെറ്റർ എന്താണ്? ഒഫീഷ്യൽ ലെറ്റർ, അല്ലെ ഫോർമൽ ലെറ്ററും പേഴ്സണൽ ലെറ്റർ എന്നൊക്കെ പറയട്ടെ, ഇൻഫോർമൽ ലെറ്ററും. ലൈക്ക് ദാറ്റ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ ഈസ് ഓൾസോ of two types. That is, first one is formal communication and next is the informal communication. So what are the formal communication? Formal communication എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഫോർമൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ മാത്രം, അതായത് മെയിൻലി ഫോർ ദ ഒഫീഷ്യൽ പർപ്പസ്. ഒഫീഷ്യൽ പർപ്പസിലുള്ള കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ മാത്രമാണ് ഫോർമൽ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷനിൽ വരിക. ഇൻഫോർമൽ ആണെങ്കിൽ എന്തായിരിക്കും? അതിനകത്ത് ഇൻഫോർമൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ മാത്രമായിരിക്കും. അതായത് അത് ചായ പിടിച്ചിട്ട് വരാം, അല്ല എന്തായി വീട്ടിലെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ, കോവിഡൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടോ, സേഫാണോ, ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള കുറച്ച് സംസാരങ്ങൾ. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ ഇൻഫോർമൽ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ, പേഴ്സണൽ മെയിൻലി. Now the formal communication may be itself classified into two: vertical and horizontal. വെർട്ടിക്കൽ ഹൊറിസോണ്ടൽ. അപ്പം എന്താ വെർട്ടിക്കൽ ഹൊറിസോണ്ടൽ? ഇങ്ങനെ ഇവിടെ നിന്നിട്ട് മുകളിലോട്ട് നോക്കി സംസാരിക്കുന്നതിന് വെർട്ടിക്കലിനും ഇങ്ങോട്ട് നോക്കി സംസാരിക്കുന്ന ഹൊറിസോണ്ടലിനും ആണോ? അല്ല. അതായത് വെർട്ടിക്കൽ മീൻസ് ദർ ആർ മെനി ഹൈറാർക്കിക്കൽ ലെവൽസ് ഉണ്ട്. അതായത് സപ്പോസ് ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ മാനേജറിൻ്റെ കീഴിൽ സൂപ്പർവൈസർ, ദെൻ താഴെ വർക്കർ, പ്യൂൺ. അപ്പോൾ This is the vertical arrangement, and this is the top level, and this is the bottom level. So top to down, top to bottom, or bottom to top. This communication is termed as the vertical communication. Manager to supervisor, supervisor to worker, worker to peon. There will be a communication. Similarly, peon to worker, worker to supervisor, supervisor to manager. That is a vertical communication. In horizontal communication, suppose this is the sales department. Now another department, finance department, production department. In each cases there are hierarchies like manager in the finance, supervisor, etc., etc. Here also manager, supervisor, etc. So manager from the sales and manager from the finance, or manager from the production and manager from the finance. This kind of communication is the horizontal communication. So these are the types of communication. Now regarding the effects of communication and certain barriers in communication, we will discuss in the next class.